Hi everyone, welcome back for another one of Tom's Teas. Tonight we are going to do chili con carne. So for chili con carne you're going to need 1 onion diced, 2 cloves of garlic and 2 hot chilies also diced, 500 grams of mince. It's probably going to feed 4 people if you serve it with some rice. You also need some tomato puree, a tin of chopped tomatoes, 250 ml of beef stock, some chili powder, and then some veg. So we've got some kidney beans, you can use any kind of beans really. We've got some sweet corn that's left over that we're going to chuck in as well, and some mushrooms. You can put peppers in there as well if you wanted, or any kind of veg that you fancy really. And as always, salt and pepper and olive oil to cook with. And I've also got some fresh coriander that I'm going to use as a garnish. That is optional, you don't have to use it, but I just like to throw it on the top at the end. You also need some rice to go with it, so roughly 75 grams per person of rice. Okay, so you want a decent sized pot to make this in. Add your olive oil, add your onions, and we're just going to let them cook medium heat, 5-ish minutes until they're nice and soft. Onions are now nice and soft, so I'm just going to add my 2 cloves of finely chopped garlic and my 2 finely diced hot chilies. I've left the seeds in these chilies as well, give it a nice bit of a kick. And then you're just going to cook that for another 2 minutes just to soften that garlic and the chili. Once your garlic and chili is cooked for a couple of minutes, turn the heat up and add your mince. And then you're just going to mix that around and let that start to cook. You want to get your mince all brown basically before you move on to the next step. So you're going to kind of cook your mince through before we add any of the sauce or spices. Once your mince is browned, turn the heat down a little bit. I'm just going to turn it down to low, and then you want to make sure that you really break up all your bits of mince. So I'm going to use a potato masher for this, and just get right in there and make sure it's all nicely ground up so you don't have any big lumps of mincemeat left. You can use a spoon, does exactly the same job. I just find it a bit easier and quicker with a potato masher. Okay, so now you're going to add a couple of teaspoons of chili powder, a couple of dessert spoons full of tomato puree, your can of chopped tomatoes, and your beef stock. Give that all a really good mix. And you can see it's really liquidy, but that's absolutely fine because we're now going to let this cook. I'd say it's up to you how long you want to cook it for. The longer you cook it for, the more flavour and the more tender your meat will be. I'm going to give this an hour, but you could leave it for 2 hours and you'll get even more flavour out of it. Just going to add a touch of salt and pepper before I bring it to the boil and let it simmer. Salt, just a touch of pepper. There's a fair bit of chilli gone in there already, so I don't want to add too much pepper. Then bring it to the boil, keep stirring it occasionally and just let it simmer. If it is going to reduce, so it becomes kind of a nice thick sauce. At that point, if you've still got more cooking time left, either add some water to it just so it doesn't get too thick and let it keep cooking, or pop a lid on and that'll stop it from reducing even more. Alright, so it's an hour later. Our sauce, well, our chili con carne is now nicely reduced. So I'm just going to add in the rest of my ingredients. So I've sliced up all my mushrooms. For some reason I put them in a jug. I don't really know why I did that, but it doesn't matter. We'll pop those in there. Half a tin of sweet corn and kidney beans. So I've just drained those off. They can go in as well. Give it all a good mix. Turn the heat up so it's nice and hot. And then just pop a lid on your pan and let that cook just until the mushrooms cook, really, or whichever veg you're putting in there has cooked. Probably take about 5 minutes. In the meantime, I've cooked my rice, so that takes about 15 minutes. Boiling salted water for your rice. We're going to drain that off now and then we'll be ready to plate it all up. All veg is now cooked. Last thing to do, taste it and just add, if you need, some more salt or pepper. So I'm just going to add it, I've tasted it already, I'm just going to add a little touch more salt. We don't need any more pepper in there because it's kind of spicy enough already. Give that a stir and then we're going to plate up. So with your rice, just pop that into the middle of the bowl and then kind of make a well in the middle. And then just add your chilli into the middle. And then for a little bit of garnish, I've just chopped up the coriander. Sprinkle that over the top. And there you go, it's chili con carne, we're ready.